Welcome back, guys. It is an absolute scorcher out here today. It is so incredibly hot today. As you saw from the last episode you watched, look at this damn car. Look how bloody good it looks. Woo-wee. It does look good, even under the light in here. I can't wait to see what it looks like out in the sun. Very nice job. Very, very bright, very dynamic. Well, it's called dynamic white, so it makes sense that it's dynamic white. So, you know, it just looks absolutely incredible. Can't wait for this thing to go back together. Even painted, this is a white line sway bar. Been painted white because it was looking a bit ratty. All the K-frame and everything out there, oh, it's gonna look so good. And this cover just is epic. How good does that look? It's gonna look so nice in the engine bay. Alright guys, I'm also going to trial a few new sort of video ideas. After editing a lot of the footage Rex was putting out, I've noticed he's a bit of a Gumby when it comes to pointing the camera the right direction when he's talking at it. The problem we have is I use a Rode Video Micro, and it is a very directional microphone. So when it's on the front of the GoPro and we're talking like this, as soon as I turn it around and talk at the back, it's really hard to hear me because of the microphone's so directional. So I've been sort of trying to get onto Rex about keeping in front his sort of mouth talking in front of the microphone so he can point at stuff, you know, X-like. But it's pretty hard to gauge where you're pointing the camera when you do that. So a few weeks ago we filmed a video which was accidentally in super wide or super view, whatever the widest GoPro setting is, which is what you're on now. And it makes it just a bit easier to get what you want in the frame without having to, you know, focus too hard on where you're pointing the camera. So I'm going to trial shooting in super wide just to see how these sorts of videos come out. So I'll be doing a few of these next ones in super wide to see how they go. Hopefully they're okay, and if they are, we'll just start shooting in super wide instead. The other advantage is that the GoPro actually won't allow me to film in 4K in linear view, whereas in super wide I can shoot in 4K, so you can watch this in 4K. So hopefully that works out. We'll see how it goes. Let us know what you think. If you think it hurts your eyes too much to look at it, let me know. If you like it, drop a comment and let me know, but this is how it's going to be for a little while. So what we're up to today, Rex actually explained it at the end of the last episode, pretty much what the go is from here. So for now, the plan is a lot of the welds that we did in the engine bay to sort of tidy it all up and block all the holes up, as you can see, they come through into the inner guard. So you can't leave them bare. So Rex has actually hit them all with primer, and today they are all going to get this sort of whole underguard area is going to get blackjacked or chassis blacked, whatever you want to call it, stone guard. It's just a really hearty, chip-proof sort of paint that is going to stay there with, you know, all of the rocks and dirt and everything that's going to end up in this wheel well that could potentially damage the paint or scratch it off. So that's going to keep everything nice and sealed and tough. Once that's in, we can start working on getting this K-frame and everything back in the car to get it rolling again, and then we can get the car out of here, and I won't go on from there because Rex already explained it. So obviously once the shell is out, there's still plenty of paint work to do. We still have to finish these doors. We still have to do under the sort of arches there where it will be exposed when the doors open. Those will still have to be done. We still have to do the other two doors, the bonnet, the boot, the front guards, which are over here still, that still need to be stripped down. So plenty of paint still to do, but like we've explained already, once the car's out of this bay and in that hoist, we can start getting the car back together at the same time as someone else can be doing the rest of the panels. So we can sort of get this project to start moving along a bit faster, which we really need because we need to get it sort of finished so that we can get most of the shed back for what's coming when the dyno gets here and stuff. So for now, the dyno's going to go pretty much right here. So we're going to have to need to get cars in and out. Not only that, with the dyno coming, there's going to be a bit of work coming, so we're going to need a fair bit of area to have cars to work on, for customers. So that's all got to happen. But yeah, oh man, I cannot wait to see this thing finished. It's going to be so sick. There you go, a little bit of stone guard underneath the inner guards and the wheel wells. Bit of stone guarding. Well, we're just going to drag it forward out into the sort of shed a bit to do it. Yeah, I'll work on getting the bloody thing back together. Hey! Hey! Hey!
That's fair enough.
Man, that was hard.
Big job.
Big job.
It was working.
Ew.
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 We got a drill bit stuck inside the shotgun. Alright, I'm hoping that's clear enough now. If I get the air nozzle.
The noose.
The nozzle on the end of the hose.
The nozzle on the hose. Yeah, no, you're doing okay. You're doing okay with you, mate.
That's some kind of success.
But wait, there's more.
Problem is, that is a, looks like a plunger.
I don't know. So this tin's a bit sad, but we're going to give it a go anyway.
It's doing the thing.
Doing the paint. Took Rex a good 10 minutes just to clean all that out though.
Yep. Yep, that's gross. That'll do. Oh no.
This stuff really stinks. It's gross. Alright, so we're going to have to mask all of the holes in the guards from the engine bay side so that it doesn't, you know, do the squirt, splatty squirty grossness. Wipe it off, yeah, as long as it doesn't dry. Alrighty, looking muchos better. Actually masked up. Alright, try again. Give it another G-O.
This fly doesn't fuck off and leave me alone.
Punch it. You're gonna just punch it?
Just punch it and shit. Kill you till you die from. That was fun.
Is it already empty?
Yeah.
Is it already empty or is it blocked already?
No, it's empty.
Empty, okay. Well, that's good, I suppose. Not that good, because we don't actually have that much.
We've got new.
Oh, we've got new ones?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Slightly like different
'Cause
brand.
this one is just a block of paint.
Block of schneed.
Ain't cool. You turn the thing.
Off you go.
I got to hold the camera.
I'll hold the flipping camera.
Yep,
There
just
we go.
turn it, yep.
Oh, it turns out. Oh no.
Yummy.
I reckon this will last about another 5 seconds. There's hardly any in this either.
Goodness.
That's it.
This stuff stanks.
It do stank.
It stanks so bad. Gross.
I got the body deadness stanks.
Right, so apparently I have new stuff.
How judgy was that?
Underbody shoots.
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 Give it a crack.
Shoots. 4 hours?
2 to 4 hours cure time.
Yeah. You what?
It is freaking hot in this container.
Yeah.
1,000,000 degrees.
Assume you just punch that straight through.
Just punch it.
Just punch him and shit. I got the poo on me.
Were you supposed to do a shake before?
I gave it, you know, a bit of a shake. Chibi.
Bit of a shake up.
Bit of a bust up.
Rightio, third time's the charm.
Well, this stuff's brand new, so it should be right.
That's covering real good.
It doesn't seem to be all good.
Okay. Alrighty, so this brand new stuff is covering like trash. So try clean the gun out again and we'll try give the bottle a shake.
I might blow that gun out too, because I think it might have picked up some shit from that other.
From the old gluggy glug glug. Well, look at what it picked up and threw on the floor.
Ew. Yeah, I think that was part of the problem. That crack was a big lump of shit. This is so unnecessarily messy. I don't think this one is water-based.
In my face. So, as you can see guys, it's not always strippers and coke around here.
That looks like it's spraying a bit better.
Oh, that's better. Hey?
Just gotta...
Oh yeah, she's gonna be nice and tough. Us. Hell yeah, bit, boy. And nothing on the guards or anything like that, which is, you know, a bonus. Because, you know, they've just been painted. Oh yeah, nice. Oh hell yes, my friends, wow. Alrighty, so now we can start getting this front end back together. So once Rex is done cleaning out the gun, we'll get that K-frame in here and we'll get it up under this big old tracker.
The heartiest of yees.
Oh, so K-frame and sway bar back in. How nice does that look? Yeah. Oh, I like it. 2 thumbs up. So, all of the actual bushes on the sway bar and everything, like those are pretty new Nolithane bushes. It's a white line 27mm front sway bar, and I'm pretty sure you had a white line in the rear, don't you, Rex? Alright, we'll have to check. I'm pretty sure it's a white line in the rear as well. Like, this car does.
We painted white, does that make the white line?
Yeah, Rex just said, you probably can't hear because I've got the microphone turned around, but he said, if we paint it white, does that make it a white line? But anyway, this car, I'm pretty sure it does have dual white line sway bars. So it does have, this car has like all the best gear in it, really. It's got discontinued Apexi N1 rear coilovers, which you might have seen us put in a long time ago. So yeah, S13 Apexi N1 rear coilovers, TN Super Street fronts. Yeah, not bad.
Because I don't. I don't need that for the ad.
I can write the ad for you. I know everything in this car. So Rex is now having an issue where he doesn't actually want to touch anything in the engine bay, dirty it all up.
It's so nice. It's like nectar.
Dark nectar. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we've gone into a bit of detail with how we came about owning this car a few times in previous sort of videos. For those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, you probably already know that Rex was about to build a new small block for his tonner, and I sort of coaxed him into buying this instead because it was a pretty good price. It was about how much he was about to spend just ordering a new block. I can still pass that to you, you know?
Nah, well, you were taking too long because you're just
Whatever.
talking to imaginary people that just aren't there.
They're not imaginary, they're real people.
Have you ever met them?
Yes, a lot of them. But anyway, it's funny actually, after we bought this car, I found sort of a couple of months later, I was going through my phone, and just at screenshots, like old photos, and I'd actually figured out that I'd previously screenshotted this ad for this car from a previous person who was selling it, but like prior to the bloke that we bought it off, and sent it to Rex beforehand. So even though the guy that we bought it off couldn't tell us much about the car, like a few weeks or a month later, I was going through my phone, found an old ad from an old owner that I had already screenshotted and sent to Rex, and was actually able to look through the entire ad for the car. Because when we bought it, we couldn't look under it. We were told it was an RB25 box, but we weren't sure. And you know, we were sort of like, oh, it's a pretty good deal either way. So we snapped it up anyway. And when we got it home and had a look at it and sort of figured all this out, we realized it was good sway bars in it, pretty good coilovers in it, had the RB25 box, had all new bushes through it. Like everything was minty. It was a really good car. It just came with a bottom end knock. Which what we actually figured out was whoever put the motor in it, it was actually originally must have been a patrol motor or something, and it had the dipstick at the back of the block. And it had been changed to a front sump, but the dipstick was still at the back of the block. So whoever was running the car would have never been able to know how much oil was in it. So we're pretty sure that's why it got the knock the first time, and then since you know the story, had two notice through it that knocked, but this one's not going to, because we're actually going to completely rebuild this one this time with all the best gear. So. All so that we can sell it. So we essentially bought a broken car, broke it a few more times, completely fixed it and rebuilt it so that we could sell it, which is nice.
We're smart. I've been hustling all my
Really,
life.
really great financial decision this was.
I've been hustling all my life.
But anyway, probably one time once the build's over or at getting to its completion, we might actually sit down and do a full start to finish history of this car since we got it and what we know about it. So it goes, this was apparently a record holder for the quickest NA R31 around, or in Australia or something. Supposedly once held a record as the quickest naturally aspirated R31. So that's history of the car, that apparently what it was. And obviously since then it got turboed and all the other gear, but who knows? Like when we bought it for what we were getting it for, even if it was a 20 bucks, it had like the TR front and everything else. Like it was a really good deal. So that's why I was like, Rex, buy this thing, do the thing, we'll do the thing. And we never did the thing. We just bought the thing and kept breaking the thing. Rightio, so steering rack's back in. So we are 2 wheels away from rolling again. Yeah.
Put the good wheels on the back again too,
Why?
because I want to see how gangster it looks.
Oh, right. I thought you meant you're going to pick the 2 best wheels and put them on the back.
No, just
Are you paying out me? Are you
It's
paying
nice-
out me wolf race for
as nice as those wheels are.
You paying out my wolf race wheels, mate? This guy.
Oh!
Yeah, nice. Oh yeah, look at that. So, needs to be a lot lower. But look how good these guards came out though. Considering what they started as. I'm spewing we actually didn't take more before photos, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm thinking about it now, we actually don't really have that many photos of before this got started, and it would have been really good considering how bad those guards were and how nice they are now. Oh man. Thing's gonna look dumb when it's finished.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's just, I can see what it's going to look like. It's going to just look mental.
Not bad, mate, not bad.
So, as far as track cars go, definitely overboard.
Rightio, so we debated at this point, like we had said at the start of this video, that we were thinking about after now moving it back into the hoist bay. But we pretty much sort of decided that at this stage there's no reason for it to go on the hoist. There's nothing we really need to put it on the hoist for. That, and also the posi track is leaking hydraulic fluid from somewhere underneath the belly, so we actually need to get that sorted at some point fairly soon as well, so we can clean up the place from, you know, all the fill and rock that's around the joint. So we're going to need the hoist for that, to put the posi on the hoist. There's not really any reason for this to go on the hoist at this point. So at the moment we're looking at starting to do, you know, things like trim and put the interior back together. Start doing that, which obviously once you put it on the hoist, you've got two big pillars to try and work around, which makes it just a pain in the ass. So it makes more sense to do the interior and the trims and stuff in here where we've got heaps of free space and we can get completely around the car. So that's what we decided to start doing. So first things first, obviously first bit of interior to go back in is going to be the carpet. We can't put the carpet back in just yet because we have to sort out a few things. Firstly, the latch for the boot and fuel door on this thing was broken, so it wouldn't open the fuel door. So Rex has pulled that out, and he's just come out here and started to pull the one out of the donor car. So we'll get that in this car so that, you know, the lever beside the seat actually works and opens the fuel door and the boot properly. So having fun out here in the sun. Great time. That and the power core, or the power lead for the battery relocation, has to be run because it's going to run down in that sill as well underneath the carpet. So we've got to run that in as well, obviously from a post in the engine bay where all our positive can go to, and then, you know, back to where the battery is going, which is in the battery box down here in the wheel well. So that has to be done, which we'll do now, and then we'll probably start on after that loading interior back in. Can probably get in and pull the hydraulic handbrake out. It is not going to go back in that situation. We actually have a RB Factory Hydro handbrake mount. So RB Factory makes this complete hydraulic handbrake mount, which is, you know, CNC cut to actually go on the shifter plate, which is awesome. Not only that, it also gives you all new hardware to use for your hydraulic handbrake and for the shifter boot. It gives you these long M6 hex head bolts, which are really handy because if any of you have owned 31s, you would know that most of the threaded holes in the actual tower, in the trans tunnel for the shifter plate there, usually always stripped. And these bolts are long enough that you can actually get the bolt down and still get an M6 nut on the back of it. So what we'll probably do is, you know, chuck some bolts down, some M6 nylock nuts on the back, and makes it rock solid, so your boot's stuck in rock solid. Not only that, because your handbrake mounts off all 6 holes in the tunnel, it's solid as. You can reef on it all day long. It's awesome. So yeah, this is from, like I said, RB Factory. Go and have a look at his website. I'll put it in the description. He makes some awesome stuff for RB30s. RB30s, R31s. And, you know, Sylvias and stuff as well. Heaps of stuff if you want to barra swap your Sylvias or Skylines. He's got all that sort of gear. So use the discount code LEPLABS for 10% off on checkout. And yeah, go have a look at what he makes because it's awesome. Awesome gear. I'm not really sure how much of this to actually film. Once again, it's not super exciting as far as, you know, just getting the interior back in. You've seen it all, you've seen it as it come out. All I'm going to do is be cleaning it as it goes in. So I'll probably just do the same thing where I just check in every now and then and give you some progress updates as we go. But yeah, it's sort of just, I think it's not really much to be said. It's pretty self-explanatory. Interior goes back in as it gets cleaned as it goes in. And I'm so excited to see this thing with the full interior and all trims back on with the fresh paint. I think it's going to be awesome, so can't wait. Wrangling a snake. Just snake wrangling.
Snake.
So I think I told you guys a few times before, but I used to be a communications technician, and you know, usually have a lot of this leftover 35mm squared copper core wire, which has been coming real handy with the stuff that I got to keep. But I am starting to run low on it now. I'm gonna have to start buying stuff soon. But for like the past probably 4 or 5 builds that we've done, we've been able to just use this leftover stuff that I've had from when I was comms rigging. Are you coming through the top? You.
Under there.
Can't believe how smacking hot it is today though. It's so hot. Alrighty, so that's where it's going to be. Post is going to be probably down here underneath somewhere out of the way, but where things can easily just get run down into the post. That's all going to get tied up. This whole loom's going to get tied up as high as we can, like we did with mine, just to stop the wheel contacting the loom. Just try and get it up. We'll drill a few holes in this seam to try and zip tie it right up. So then down in the car, around through the car, through that sill. So this will be up, you know, under the seat, out of the way, under all the trims. And back here to the battery. And then there's the battery earth is just going to go to this point here. So that's going to be the battery setup. Alrighty, so we've given the old girl a big vacuum out, which it did need, full of gross stuff. There was even a ciggy butt in here, which obviously must have been from a previous owner. So yeah, full bare, all vacuumed out. So now it's time to, firstly, the handbrake and, you know, the first little bit of the assembly poke through the floor. After that, the carpet will go back in. So we're not going to bother gluing the carpet back in, just because I feel like it's pretty much a waste of time. It's a lot easier to be able to pull the carpet up and down. You know, it is a track car, we're just trying to tidy it up. So the carpet's to tidy it up, so it is like a nice street car, but we're not going to go to the length of effort of, you know, gluing the carpet back down or doing anything like that. It also doesn't have any of the actual, like the soft foam deadening stuff on the bottom of the carpet anymore, just because those sorts of things just hold water and get moldy and gross. So it's been ripped out of this car, and it's been ripped off the carpet that I pulled out of the other car, so it's not going back in. So first thing is handbrake and carpet. That's going to go in now. So I'm going to try real hard to try and get pretty much most of the interior back in this car this afternoon. Admittedly, Rex, he didn't pull the interior out of the donor car for one, and this is the only 31 he's ever owned which never had an interior for two. So he admittedly really doesn't have much of an idea of how it goes back together, because he's never seen one even intact, let alone come apart. So while I'm here, I've got to go back to work this week. So while I'm here, I want to try and get pretty much most of this interior back in, so Rex doesn't have any hold-ups when it comes to it. So that's my aim. There's still a few things he has to run down this sill of the car, like his tube to the remote mount washer bottle that he's got to mount back there. The tube that it comes with isn't quite long enough to get to the front of the car, so he needs to go buy some more tube to run, but it's not that big of a deal because the carpet's not going to be glued down, you know, all of that stuff which we just said. So I'll just leave the trims off this side of the door, that way he can run the tube, and if he needs to see how they go on, which I doubt he will need to, they're going to be on the other side so he can double check. But it's pretty self-explanatory from that point. The hardest thing with these things really is just the seat belts, and the rear seat's a bit of a pain. Just some of the bolts you have to get at are a real pain in the bum, but you know, it's they're not that hard. But I'll just try and get it in while I'm here. Yeah, boy. Yee! So I'm still pretty amazed with how well this carpet came out, considering, I don't know if you remember or you got a good look in that video of what it looked like before I pulled it out of the silhouette. But it was absolutely horrific. This was all mold. So considering that, it's come up pretty nice, really, for a carpet that's, you know, 30 plus years old. Or the 89, yeah, 30 years old. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm really stoked with how good this carpet came out. Can do with another vacuum. Just before I threw it in, I put it back on the sawhorses and gave it a good dust and a little bit of a vacuum, but it will still could use just a good vacuum just to get some of the dust and stuff out. But using that carpet cleaner and that exit mold certainly got all of the real grubby grottiness off it. There's a little bit on that side on the passenger floor, which is not much we can do about that. It just looks like where it's actually damaged the carpet a little bit, but you know, once we chuck some floor mats in it, you won't even notice, and God, it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'll continue on, keep on keeping on. So there you go, guys. For potentially the first time in this car's entire life, or for as long as the life that we've known it, this car has back seats. Not only just back seats, silhouette seats to boot. Got a little armrest. How good's that? How awesome is that? Get out so you can see how it really looks. But hell yeah. So you can see there how good this looks in there with this carpet. It's also got C-pillar trims now. So what I've been doing is just armor rolling everything as it goes in. So I clean it as it goes in. Seats have been vacuumed as they go in. It's also got a parcel shelf as well. The pasta shelf. Just missing one clip for right here. I've got two there. I just need one more clip. So I'm hoping that shows up somewhere. I'm not sure where it ended up, but so as you can see, it's got a full parcel shelf. Back seats. Rex has just been cleaning this windscreen. He's actually just cleaning the front one and not having a nice time at all. But yeah, cleaning all the overspraying crap off them. But The overspray was not us also, it was whoever last did some repairs and painted this thing, got heaps of overspray on it, but...
The front windscreen is my fault.
Oh yeah, the front one's risks.
The back one.
But anyway, what I'm getting on as, you can see full back seat, full seat belts, everything works. The only thing I will point out for whoever is buying this car potentially, so I got the 4 most bottom screws in for the back seats, or the backrest for the seat. If anyone knows Skylines, you've got 2 at the bottom of each corner, and then 2 right at the bottom underneath this seat. But there is also these 2, which are actually 2 posts that have nuts. Obviously, because of the firewall in the back of this car, because of the surge tank in the boot, we can't get them on, and that's why the back seat sits just a little bit funny. But I mean, whoever buys the car, if you remove the firewall, you can easily fix that. Or if you plan on leaving the firewall in, you can just cut that mount off so it doesn't sit out a little bit, so it actually sits flat again. But for us, you know, sitting it like that gives the new owner a choice, and also it doesn't actually affect the seat security. It still actually locks in fine. So, but you can see how it sits just a little bit funny there. That is why. So whoever buys the car, you can sort of decide what you want to do about it. We thought about taking the firewall out, but then if whoever buys it really wants to use it as a track car, you can run into issues with scrutineering for having your fuel cell or a surge tank in the back without having a firewall. And then I thought about, you know, cutting the mount off, but then if someone buys it and actually wants to street the car, they might want to pull the firewall out and actually mount it there. So again, it depends who buys it, what you want to do, where you live. But anyway, the seat and the carpet and the firewall and the parcel shelf is all looking really nice. The other thing is the speakers in the parcel shelf do nothing. All they do is plug the holes. There is no speaker wires to them either, so if you do want to put a sound system in it, you have to run speaker wires. But the speakers are there. You know, everything's there in the file, in the pasta shelf. I can't even say parcel shelf anymore. You ruined it for me. So everything's there if you want to put a sound system in the car. Obviously, we're not planning to because, again, it's really being aimed at a track car. But damn, it's going to be a nice track car. Looking really good.
Just so someone can buy it and bid it.
It certainly is a bit of a process getting this interior back in though, you know, going through everything, cleaning it all up, getting it back in and stuff. But, you know, again, the results speak for themselves, how nice it looks. It's very, very satisfying when it comes together like this and looks this good. So this carpet's obviously going to need another vacuum. As I said, it needed it when I put it in, let alone once I've been crawling all around it with my dirty boots. So. Next thing I'll probably work on is center console and that sort of thing, because again, it's sort of out of the way. It's not going to be in anyone's way if I chuck it in there. So. Rightio, people. So I've got the center console sort of in here. I've just mocked it up for illustrative purposes at the moment, really, because obviously all this can't really go in until the gearbox and the shifter and everything is in the car, because it all has to work around that. But as you can see, we've got the silhouette center console, which is a lid. It also has the original carpet bottom in the center console, which is absolutely sweet. Unfortunately, does not have the knobs for the actual adjusters for the headphone jacks, although they're not plugged in anyway because the loom of the car doesn't allow for the headphone jacks in the loom. So the plug for that whole setup is still underneath here. It's all still there, just obviously we're not going to install it. I have tried to clean this up as best I can with Armor All before it went in the car, but that being said, I'm not like a professional car detailer. I'm sure there's probably ways to clean it up better, but, you know, clean enough for us. So, what I've done here, I've installed our RB Factory Hydro mount, which Rex's handbrake doesn't actually fit, so we're thinking about just buying another China cheap eBay one. These are actually designed to fit with the eBay sort of hydraulic handbrake, so not sure where Rex's is from, but it doesn't seem to line up with these bolt holes, so we're considering maybe getting another one or just re-drilling this plate. And wouldn't you know, as I expected, pretty much all of his tunnel bolts are stripped, so lucky we've got these M6s so we can put some nuts on the bottom of them. Not to worry for now though, obviously we need the rubber boot for the shifter to be in there, so I've cut this out with the air hacksaw as well as the inside of this, because this was obviously came out of an automatic. The Silhouette was an automatic, so all I did was drill all the corners with a small drill bit and then use the air hacksaw to actually cut that out. But I did sort of mess that up a bit. I didn't actually have to cut that far forward. I could have cut across there and left that little tray in the front, I reckon, especially looking at mine. Obviously mine does have a manual one, but anyway, hopefully we can just find a shifter boot that is big enough to cover the whole hole. That is my bad. So I've just cut that with the air hacksaw and then filed down the edges to make it look like it's a, you know, legitimate manual surround. So hopefully, yeah, we can get a boot that actually sticks to the bottom of that, that's going to cover that whole area and look alright. And yeah, once the handbrake goes in, should be all gravy, baby. So yeah, so all I've done is just sit all this in situ and put the back 2 bolts in here for now, because it's going to have to come back out for the gearbox and everything else to happen. But you can see how it's going to look. It's going to look very schmick, very nice. And obviously we still have a lot of the dash put back in. So Rex has got to rewire a lot of that though. He wants to eliminate a lot of that, put some new gauges in, make things a little bit more simple. But yeah, the interior is going to look very good when it's done. Just looking at how it's coming along, it's going to be awesome. Psyched, pumped. So you can see here Rex has also unstickered all the back windscreen and started putting all of the trim back on it. He's also polished the trim as he's putting it on. He's polishing it as we go.
Wasn't the unstickering a fucking job and a half though?
Not happy about the unstickering, he reckons. He also completely cleaned the front windscreen as well. Got all of the overspray on it that he got from when he did the engine bay. So
Turns out there actually was
that's all done.
some white overspray from the previous
Fair bit of overspray there.
top there.
He also painted the old AC drop tube drain, which actually had just white overspray on it as well. So he pulled that out and painted that, so it's nice and black. So we're gonna head down and have some dinner now, have a bit of a break, try and figure out what we're gonna attack next, because we're a bit of a stalemate. Rex needs some Sikaflex to finish the trims around the top of the doors. Like all this stuff, he sort of needs some Sikaflex and stuff for, which we actually have no black left. We thought we did, but we don't. So that might be a sort of a bit of a trek to go somewhere else and get some of that tomorrow. Apart from that, I suppose, yeah, could put the driver's seat back in if I wanted, but it might just get in the way. We still have so much of the dash to put back together and stuff, so we might even start putting the cluster and that back together. Rex only really needs to sort out the center panel with them gauges, so we might be able to chuck the cluster back in and sort that out a bit. We'll think about it over dinner and we'll come back and see what we can do. Rightio guys, so we had a big ass roast pork dinner, which was awesome. We've been back up here for about an hour now, just cruising around putting stuff back together. Rex has put the antenna back in, a few of the rear trims on the rear windscreen, stuff like that. I started just putting all of the kick board panel thingies, I've just sat them in there because we don't have B-pillar trims in yet, so can't really screw them down because the B-pillar trims have to go underneath. So yeah, aerial's in there. So Rex has been Sikaflexing back in all of the seals and stuff around the back window on that. I did start putting the dash back together, but I did run into a problem where we can't put the new aircon controller, which we pulled out of the Silhouette because it has the lights on the knobs. We can't put it back in because the heater's not back in, or the fan, sorry I should say. The fan has not been back installed, and it's got one of the wires that go to one of the controllers on the aircon control unit in it. So we went to put it back in so that we could install the control unit so that we could finish installing the dash fascia. However, the reason Rex has left the fan off is because the loom has to go out of the firewall right above the fan. So he's leaving the fan until the motor and the loom is installed, which means the fan can't go in until then, which means the air control unit can't go in until then, which means the rest of the dash fascia can't go in until after that. So sort of hit a bit of a stalemate with that as far as that goes. It's a bit too late now to start putting the engine together. So yeah, so we're not about to start doing that really. That's one of those things where we sort of need to gear up and do it all in sort of one hit because of the nature of what we're doing and where we're doing it. Obviously, at the moment we don't have a controlled engine room, which we will have very soon, but at the moment it's one of those things where we need to get in, paint, prep the block, and then get the thing together and sealed all in pretty much one day. It's not really one of those things we can leave unsealed in this shed the way it is. So. The good news is though we actually do have Sikaflex, which means, like I said, Rex has been Sikaflexing a few seals and stuff back in, so we can continue going with these trims around the window, around the doors. It's been a good day, like considering it started out on stands. Now it's got full K-frame, everything in the front end's back installed, interior is getting there, and it's looking pretty good, so nah, we're getting there. I think the reason we can't go on with B-pillar trims and stuff is because the ones out of the Silhouette are really sudden damage, they're not very nice. The ones out of this thing obviously are pretty sun damaged, not very nice. So our option was our preferred option is to take the ones out of the Pintara. So we're waiting to go down and get the ones out of the Pintara for the B and the A pillar trims. As you can see, there's no A pillar trims on it. But same thing, it's dark. I'm not going down and get them out of the Pintara now. I'm sure Rex doesn't either. So we'll just keep going with what we can tonight, and we'll check back in pretty soon, which will be, I'm sure, will be done fairly soon. It's getting pretty there as far as tonight goes. So here I was like 10 minutes ago, like we're not going to go down and get that off the Pintara at the moment while it's dark. We still went down got these trims off because so the top chrome trim that goes over the two top of the doors, the Rex's old ones had hail damage in them. So they've got a few dings and marks, and someone's tied some tires on the roof or something. Obviously, being a track car, being a beater, it's pretty expected for people to, you know, tie things through the windows to the roof and that sort of stuff. So those trims were a bit sad. So we stole the ones off the Pintara because they are much nicer. So they are going on this car now, so that all the chrome's nice and good. But while we were down there, we did have a look at getting the A and B pillar trims off. The problem is that to get the B pillar trim off, you actually need to get the bottom of the seat belt off, which is a 9mm socket, which we didn't have on us, so I'm not going back down there in the dark, even though we just went down there in the dark. But. So the other thing is, while I've got everyone here with this empty engine bay that looks so awesome, I've had heaps of questions about the R34 rack in this car. So as we said at the start, pretty much the first episode is when we smashed the R34 rack in, or Rex put the R34 rack in. So it does just bolt straight in, as you can see. This side mount bolts straight up. This side mount also bolts straight up. Just clears that line at the back. But you can see there where the standard R34 mount would normally sit. And that's actually pretty much how far offset the rack is to that side. So obviously the R34 is a much wider car, has a much wider track width. And the rack normally would sit, you know, sort of 20mm further that way or so. Maybe a little bit less than 20mm, but either way, it is quite offset, which at the moment we're exploring options on how to make it work the way it is. So, as you all know, GK Tech sell rack spacers, like screw-in rack spacers. The reason these are designed is because they reckon you get more lock by allowing the actual inner of the rack to travel further before it hits the rack end on the edge of the casing. It can actually travel further inside the rack, which gives you a little bit more lock. That's pretty much why they're designed. But we figure if we can set one of those up to offset pretty much the steering and the rack, hopefully we can get it to work. So at the moment, because it's too far offset to one way, we don't get full lock on one side. So we are hoping that this GK Tech sort of kit thing will allow us to get full lock both sides. If it does, well then, you know, that's a pretty simple fix to be able to bolt R34 rack in, put on the GK Tech rack spacer, and be able to get full lock both ways. But like I said, we are still exploring as to whether this is actually going to work or not. We're waiting for the GK Tech part to get here. Funny story, it actually already got here, but we left it in that red ute we rebuilt, and Tony, the owner, actually took it home and found it, so he put it back in a post box, and we're hoping it sort of rocks back up. But we're waiting for that to get here so we can play around and try and ensure that this front end setup is going to work. But you know, until then, unfortunately, no solid answers for you guys as to whether this is actually a bolt-in replacement which is going to work. We already know the lines are different. You have to get the lines sorted. That's a given. It's the same with an S13 rack. You'd have to sort the lines. However, if we can get this to work with just the GK Tech rack spacer, you don't have to modify the actual cross member, which you do for an S13 rack. So that's just one of those things where it's like, stay tuned and we'll see how we go. But for now, sorry guys, don't have the solid answer for you. Also, I will just throw in with that, when I say modify for an S13 rack, I am going off just what I've heard and what I've read on the internet. I've never actually fitted an S13 rack to an R31, but I have been told that one of the mounts has to be modified on the cross member to fit the S13 rack. Again, I don't know, this is just what I've read. What happened is I was always going to fit an S13 rack to mine. I was actually going to fit a full R32 cross member to my car and re-drill the frame rails to fit the R32 cross member so I could fit an S13 or R32 rack without having to modify anything. But I ended up just putting the R31 rack and cross member back in, firstly because it was easier for me, and secondly because I tested the S13 rack and lock to lock was 3 1/4 turns on both racks. So it was the same ratio lock to lock, and I just thought I didn't see really the point in modifying or you know, going through so much effort to modify the car to fit the S13 rack. So I just put the R31 rack back in. So that's why I've never done it. I've been told you need to modify things, but that's just what I'm going off. So this, obviously, we didn't have to modify any mounts, it just bolted in. But again, waiting to see if it's going to work. I mean, I can
if it's not too much bother.
Nah, just put the camera. Oh, so you can see how good that chrome's going to look. Still needs to get a wipe up, like still got all the dirty handprints on it, but Very nice, very good chrome, especially with the black around the doors, around the windows. It's gonna look awesome. So that last clip, we actually had the clips that hold this top trim in the wrong way around, and that's why the gap was so far out. But we turned them around and that's sitting much better now. It's fixed that, so had to take them all off to do that. But luckily we'd only done one side. That gap's much better. So we have got chrome on both sides. Rex has just given it a final wipe to get all the handprints off it. But yeah, looking awesome. So
does that look sexy?
there's a few little spots of overspray on the black around the frames, like little spots of white. We've decided we're just going to brush touch them. Rex had thought about putting them in the little touch-up gun we've got at a really low air pressure and just spraying the window trims again, or the window edges. But it's just not worth doing. It's just going to be a lot easier just to brush touch them. They're not that visible. All we got to do is get rid of the white so it doesn't shine through the gaps, and they're going to be awesome. So looking really nice. Glad we went through the effort of picking all the best trims off all the 3 cars we built this out of.
Man, this car is just such a monster.
Bit of a Frankenstein, but it is all the best bits out of everything we've got. So it's at this stage we've discussed it. We're not even that mad if it doesn't sell. Like if it doesn't sell, we'll just keep it. We'll find another way to pay for the dyno. It's not that big a deal. You know, if we don't get what it's worth to us, which is even just the amount of money we put into parts in it, let alone the amount of time we're spending getting this all perfect. So
Yeah.
if we don't get what we want, we'll keep it and street it ourselves. Who cares?
I'm not going to give it away.
Yeah, like really, we're not going to drop the price. You know, at the rate it's going, we're going to be asking pretty high dollars for a 31. That being said, I've not personally ever really seen a 31 done to this sort of standard that's for sale, so I've never been able to gauge a price. So there's going to be a lot of people out there that screw their nose up straight up. You know, 31's not worth that much money and this and that, but it's to do a car to this sort of standard, you know, restoration, fix everything, make sure everything's brand new, fresh paint, get the whole interior together, all the best parts of everything, completely fresh motor with all the best gear. It's you know, it's got to be worth some dollars, and if it's not, we're happy to keep it and street it and chuck some stickers on it. Use it as a bloody shop car. But anyway, we are at this point at pretty much a stalemate now. We've got all the trims back around over the windows and that. You know, the only other things I could point out would be like brake booster and clutch master and brake master, but Rex is still yet to paint them. He wants to paint them up, so we can't put them on yet. The seats and dash and stuff I've been through about 10 times in this video. The only other thing is like the tail lights and that, but even then, the little garnishes that go below the tail lights where the indicators and reverse lights are, they obviously need to get painted the same white, which they are not, and you need to put them in at the same time as you put the tail lights in. So seems like a bit of a waste of energy putting the tail lights in at the moment. We'll also probably have to Sikaflex the tail lights back in, because as all of you know who know R31s, the tail lights are renowned for leaking. They're a pain in the ass, but Rex's tail lights are actually really, really good. Definitely one of the best pairs I've seen. They've got like no cracks at all. Mine have got like spider cracks and stuff all through them, which most R31s do. Rex's are really, really good tail lights. So, like, this thing when it's finished is going to be awesome. Can't wait for the big reveal. Like I was saying earlier in this video, I'm just spewing we don't have more before shots. But anyway, we'll know for next time. Take a lot more before shots of what we're doing. But you know, we're pretty much out of stuff to do. It's 10:30, so I guess that's all right. Bit earlier than we normally finish up here, but like we said, it's too late to start on the motor. It's too late to really start on anything else, and we've done just about everything we can to the car. So it's been an awesome day, getting stuff done, making some good progress, really seeing, I suppose, a sneak peek of the final result and what it's going to be, and we're very, very pleased with it. And it's making us very motivated. So unfortunately, like I said, I've got to go back to work this week, so I won't be here to see a lot of the rest of it unfold. But you get that. So anyway, thanks for watching as always, guys. Hopefully from this video and onwards, this build starts to, you know, move along a bit quicker. I know admittedly the earlier videos in this series sort of dragged on a bit, but like I was saying before, it's just such a hard part of the build, getting everything together, getting your ideas together, getting all the parts ready out of all the different cars we're building it out of. But from this point, hopefully things really start to click and go together a bit quicker, and it's hopefully a bit better with the content sort of thing. So hope you're enjoying the super wide and the 4K. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully it's okay, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. I'll be around on the next one for the start, and then I'll leave you with Rex again, but we'll see you then. Catch you later. Smash like, hit subscribe, you know, all the berries. Give us the berries if you hit like, and it shows YouTube that we're pretty cool guys, and everyone should be watching this video. So definitely do that for us. That'd be awesome. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace, guys. Catch you later.